Oh man, I just had a great time at Pride 2019. Honestly, it was really fun. St. Pete really knows how to do it right. I wonder what's on TV.
If you have a little child or a little boy and he's a little boy that's being effeminate, you know what you do as a parent? You punish that. You deal with that. You train them to not be effeminate. You don't promote it.
So like I said in the intro, I just got back from Pride 2019. Actually, by the time this video comes out, it'll probably be a few days after Pride 2019. I went to St. Pete, Florida, got a lot of cool pictures. Maybe I'll show them later on. Not in this video, however, because today we get to talk about Tommy McMurtry and the NIFB, my favorite. Seriously, this is like the vegetables of content. I don't want to eat it, but I have to because it will make me big and strong. Anyways, if you think the last episode was bad, we still have quite a bit more to go through. Without further ado, let's jump right into the news.
If you have a little child or a little boy and he's a little boy that's being effeminate, you know what you do as a parent? You punish that. You deal with that. You train them to not be effeminate. You don't promote it. You don't go buy them a dress. You don't go buy them a doll and things like that. You know what you do? You punish that. You deal with that because that is a sin.
Now, if any of you have been keeping up with Tommy McMurtry or have seen my videos on Tommy McMurtry or have seen my video on the Make America Straight Again advertisement, you would know that Tommy McMurtry promotes the idea that the government should start killing the gays. I want you to keep that in mind because I'm going to make an assumption here that I feel as though is a safe bet to say, because like everything in the NIFB, they don't outright tell their followers to go out and beat and slaughter people in the streets. They kinda say it. So what I'm to gather from what Tommy McMurtry has just said is parents should be physically beating their children. He did not say that specifically, but if I were to guess, that is the end result in which Tommy McMurtry wants out of his congregation, is to physically beat their children so that they are no longer effeminate. The sad thing is, this is a real issue. A lot of kids are in fact beaten by their parents over who they were born as.
There are people that are out there who have false doctrine. Okay? We talked to them today. You ask them how to get to heaven, and they'll tell you, be a good person, one we are today, follow the golden rule, is what he said. Do unto others, you'd have them do unto you. Okay? That's wrong.
I really want to know how Pastor Tommy McMurtry knows for a fact that his own special brew of Christianity is the correct one. You can't say it's because God says it is, because which God are you talking about? Your God? How do we know your God is the right God? How do we know that your God is the real God? There are several gods that promote several different things. There are several branches of Christianity that worship several different types of gods. Which God, which version of God, which fan fiction am I supposed to rely on in order to get my ass in heaven? Because I want to stay as far away from that doctrine as possible, because I'm hoping to go to the super mega rave party going down below in hell. Main point is, this sounds an awful lot like all of those snake oil peddlers who say, don't trust doctors, trust me, I know what's good for your health, except with even less evidence to support their case than those pseudoscience nut jobs. Funnily enough, I'm getting Jilly Juice vibes from this. You know, the whole trust me, don't trust anyone else. Ironically, something else that the NIFB shares with the Jilly Juice cult is they both follow the bite model for being categorized as a cult. Now, I'm going to be editing down the next part that we're going to talk about because honestly, a lot of it is really long and drawn out for absolutely no reason. So if you want to see the full context behind what we're going to be discussing, I implore you to check the description for the link to the original source material. Otherwise, just sit back, relax, and realize I'm not taking him out of context. I'm just taking away all of the unnecessary fluff in his sermon.
They're not out there teaching a works-based salvation. You know what they are? They're the victims of the reprobates. They're the victims of the people that are standing up against us, standing up against the truth so they can lead people into hell. He's one of their victims. Okay? When I was at the conference this last week, that Joshua Jocelyn guy, and I didn't know who the guy was. And I was like, yeah, this Joshua Jocelyn guy's an idiot. I was reading some of the stuff from the guy's book. The guy's clearly an idiot. Just this week, it was that guy responding to Jeff Utzler's videos. And I started watching the video, and I watched like the first 5 minutes, and this guy was saying incredibly stupid stuff. I was like, man, this guy is a moron. Well, when we were at the conference, who shows up with a bullhorn protesting? And I went out there, and I was kind of with some guys. We were arguing with them a little bit, and laughing at him and all that. The guy's just a moron. The stuff he's saying was so stupid, and I'm entertained by idiots, all right? And this guy, I was allowing myself to be entertained. I love having a back and forth one-on-one conversation with people. Well, then I went back out there. I wanted to take a picture of him. I wanted to take a picture of the crazy street preacher. And when I went out there, I was like the only one that was out there. He puts down his megaphone. He's like, hey, do you want to have a conversation? Do you want to talk? I wanted to bad. But, he had a couple people. He had this woman that was with him videoing stuff. And here's the problem. This is why I don't do debates. Okay? Because if I say one stupid thing, he's going to make a huge deal out of that.
Okay, so I just whittled 10 minutes down into 2 minutes, and what I want to point out is in no part of that entire spiel did he actually refute anything this Joshua, whatever last name, said, rather just calling him stupid or a moron or a combination of stupid moron over and over again, so that effectively, if anyone had any academic integrity in his congregation, which I highly doubt there is anyone there who passed kindergarten, they would immediately reconsider, thinking that it would be a waste of time because this Joshua guy is clearly not worth the time nor the effort. I find it hilarious that Tommy McMurtry is afraid of looking like an idiot when literally every single sermon I've seen of his, he looks like a massive fucking idiot. I'm not talking about his outdated worldviews. I'm talking about how his grammar, diction, cadence, and vocabulary is very basic and pretty surface level. He then goes on to say, I know better than to argue with a reprobate, pretty much telling his followers, hey, we're better than those people. There's no reason to talk to them. There's no reason to debate them or to listen to their ideology, thus creating a scenario where we have information control because you are told not to talk to people who disagree with you. This is most likely done so that none of the congregation actually hear an outside opinion that might conflict with Tommy McMurtry's teachings, thus making them question their faith in that particular branch of a church or in the church entirely. Does that sound pretty culty? It is. Information control is actually one of the components of the bite model when used to determine whether something is or isn't a cult. I keep bringing that up, but we're not quite at that point in the video yet to where I want to talk about it.
Had I not seen that video this last week and figured out the guy was already a reprobate from that, I probably would have went and had a conversation with him. And I might have said something to make me look stupid to end up hurting the cause.
Hurting the cause or hurting your ego, I'm asking for a friend.
But reprobates, they're full of debate. They're full of debate and malignity. Why do they do that? Because they've got nothing to lose. Okay? A guy like him that's standing out in a street corner, promoting heresy through his bullhorn, he's got nothing to lose. But I do have a testimony.
If your position is weakened through debate, that's a good signifier that your position is probably wrong, or at the very least, morally conflicting with the rest of society's. If you're afraid of your testimony's reputation being put in danger because of things you say based on what you believe, that's probably a sign that the shit that you believe is morally or logically indefensible. You're not afraid of saying something stupid. You're afraid of the rest of the world telling you that you're batshit fucking wrong. It is honestly either a sign of your incompetence as a public speaker or the frailty of your ego when someone makes a better argument than you. Isn't there a sin that has something to do with ego? I think it's something like
pride is the first of the 7 vital sins. To become it is to be over and over again.
You know, you have to just let them go to hell. That's all there is to it. And pray that the Lord gets them there before they take more people with them.
You heard it here first, folks. Pastor Tommy McMurtry is actively praying for every quote-unquote reprobate to go straight to hell. Tommy, keep praying the gay away, because honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's absolutely fucking hilarious. Here's an interesting little thought, though. Why do you need the government to kill all the gay people if your all-powerful and all-knowing God could do it if you just pray hard enough? Are those prayers not working? I wonder why they're not working. This might be my atheist spidey sense tingling, but I think it's because nobody's listening up in the sky. Either God ain't there, or God just doesn't give a shit about your vendetta against the gay people.
But you know what? If I go out and I'm knocking doors, and I talk to some other guy, and he says some of the same things, well, he's not the guy out in the street corner with a bullhorn. He's not the guy with the YouTube channel or the Facebook page, you know, that's trying to convert people and this stuff. He's one of the victims.
Oh no, guys, I'm one of the ones with the YouTube channel. Guess I'm a reprobate. Uh-oh. In all seriousness, 1, don't knock on doors to promote your shitty religion. It's just an inconvenience on everyone, and it's super fucking annoying. 2, I find it interesting that you only have issue with the people who are publicly voicing their opinions, and I feel as though the real world reason you don't like those specific people is because those are the ones directly challenging your brainwashing tactics. Of course, you don't mind the person who privately thinks all of the things the, I believe you said, street pastor says in public, because you're more worried about your congregation or potential members of your congregation hearing things that other people say that contradict your teachings, thus making you lose potential money. And while there's no proof of this, I truly do believe that the end result of all of this is so that Pastor Tommy McMurtry can get money. I quite literally cannot for the life of me find any other motivation he would have for saying the shit he does and having such an echo chamber of people around him at all times if it were not for extorting money from a lot of people.
I need to have compassion on that person, because it's people like them that have been taken advantage of by the actual reprobates. That person is clearly on their way to hell because of another reprobate, but they're not the reprobate.
I would follow your logic and say I need to have compassion for you because you are a product of an old world system and old world ideologies that have probably brainwashed you when you were younger. But no, I'm not going to have any form of compassion for you because you are a grown man and are thus responsible for yourself. Gay people exist, so there are more people who aren't gay that are going to this supposed hell that you believe exists, which you have no evidence to prove. So that justifies beating your children and calling for the government to take capital punishment on homosexuals who have already suffered enough on this mortal coil throughout history because of people like you. Yeah, I really feel bad. Pastor Tommy McMurtry, I am so sorry gay people exist. Cry me a biblical flood and maybe I'll give a shit about how gay people existing will send people to your made-up, spooky, oogie-boogie place.
When the people all came together, when they are united, what do the sons of Belial do? These people who are reprobates, they go and they're trying to pull people away.
When the people are united, the sons of Belial try to pull them away. Pastor Tommy McMurtry, you realize what you just said makes you seem like a reprobate in your own definition, right?
They're not content to just do their own thing. They're not content to just, have their own opinion and do their own wickedness by themselves. And this is how a lot of Christians are too. Well, it's none of our business, what people do behind closed doors, when it comes to homos and stuff like that. But here's the problem. Somebody who is a homo that has been given over to a reprobate mind, they are the ones who promote wickedness. And the thing is, homosexuals, they are not content to just go stay in the closet and just do their disgustingness behind closed doors. They all want to recruit.
You caught me, guys. First, I was enlisted in the bisexual Navy, then right over to the Trans Air Force. You sharp cookie, you can't sneak anything. What the fuck? What the fuck is he talking about? Recruit? I have seen more evidence of heterosexuals, quote-unquote, recruiting GSRM people through gay conversion therapy, abuse, neglect, imprisonment, than I have seen gay people try to turn straight people gay. Insert outdated James Charles joke here. And with that, I'm going to have to cut this video off here. There is a lot more of a sermon to cover, and holy shit, we haven't even gotten to the juiciest parts yet. I know this one was a little lackluster. Don't worry, there are more calls to action that he makes and more ridiculous statements. And as always, you can never quite tell if he's sexually attracted to pumpkins or not, which is still the big mystery. That being said, my name's Jen. Please stick around for part 3. I swear I can make a whole mini-series off of this one sermon alone, but after this, I'm planning on covering everyone's favorite pastor, Steven Anderson, soon, so hit the bell notifications if you're interested in that whenever that fucking comes out. Jesus Christ. I hate myself. That's all I got.
What can I do? What can I say? Choose your way.